Concerns over the spread of coronavirus causing daily life in America to come to a grinding halt. So with Americans being told to practice social distancing, limit their time in public, how are small businesses faring and what can you do to help support them? Or what do you do if you own a small business? Let's bring in CPA and the owner and operator of the Marks Group, PCG Marks. Gene, good morning.
Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
Good morning. What can you say to small business owners this morning? Restaurants, bars shutting down in major cities, and more small businesses are likely under threat.
Yeah, Cheryl, I'm seeing it all over the place. We have a lot of small business clients in my firm, and I write a lot about small businesses and issues. And there are restaurants and shops, merchants, Main Street. A lot of businesses are being forced to shut down. It's not even the lack of demand, but a lot of governments and local jurisdictions are telling them that you can't operate, particularly if you're a consumer-facing business. So if you're a small business owner, you really have to look at what your available cash is, and you have to look into dipping into your cash reserves. One thing that I think is really important, Cheryl, is that, as I think some of your other guests have said, none of us believes that this is a long-term thing. And if you're operating a business, you're looking at something that you're going to have to weather over the next probably few months. And that's something that you have to make sure that you convince your banker or whoever's financing your business, your available lines of credit. This is not an indication as to how good or bad your business is doing. This is a rough patch that we need to get through. And I think that the financing community, the government, Small Business Association loans are now available as well. You have to look for those areas of cash to kind of help you weather this storm, because you will weather it. It will not be a long-term thing.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about bars and restaurants. We're talking about, with the box office having its worst year in 20 years, all those ancillary businesses. I mean, it's widespread. 60 million people work for companies that have less than 500 workers. What do you say to the workers there? Because we are expecting the Senate to vote on the House bill that is an emergency coronavirus, stimulus bill, if you will. The Fed stepped in last night. But can the government, do you think, help those workers? Is it going to be enough for them to cover their rent, to cover their food bills if they're not working?
It's a really interesting question, because the government itself, they are looking at those bills now. There's like a bureaucracy thing, right? I mean, like, even if something does get passed, where do you go to apply for this stuff? How long does it take you to get funds? How long will you have to wait to get the money that you need? These are things that are, it's not going to happen automatically. So if you're a worker, listen, hopefully you've got some savings. Hopefully you will work along with your employer as well, and realize that not all employers, particularly small businesses, most small businesses have about 30 days of cash on hand to operate their businesses. So when something like this happens, it's very, very disruptive. I think now is the time where both employees and employers have to partner together to kind of weather their way through this. And one of the things, Cheryl, we're talking about what can people do to help support small businesses. Listen, we've all got to look out for ourselves. This is not a charity thing, but if you're a supplier to a small business, if you're a landlord of a small business, now is the time to step up and show the support for the people that you're working with. Extend those terms, give them some available credit, be a little bit more lenient in how you do business with them, because again, it should be just a short-term thing.
We're saying tip well, order in, try to shop local, gift cards, and online. A lot of small businesses are online as well. Gene Marks, it's great to have you this morning to talk about these really rough hit businesses. Thank you, sir.
Agreed. Take care.
At my yoga studio is